morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour on this Monday, Thanksgiving week. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, legal, lawful, constitutional tender on this. Well, I guess it's really the kickoff to the holidays, Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Of course, Black Friday now is more like Cyber Black Friday. But I hope you're getting ready, making the preparations, being around family, and don't worry, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you survive it. It's something that I've been doing now for 3 or 4 years now, and I've been sharing it with you every year. I'm going to share it with you again, how to survive the holiday, and also having your cake and eating it too. 800-951-0592. That's our toll-free number. The website at allamericangold.com. Just as a program reminder, Wednesday will be our last day. So we'll be closed Thursday and Friday. So if you want to get business done before the holiday, then you got to do it by Wednesday. The stations are going to be, I'm not sure about, I know Phoenix closed Thursday. I'm not sure about Friday. Colorado is closed Thursday and Friday. That I know for sure. And we'll be back on Monday. Having said that, how do we get ready? You know, like our oldest son, this is our first time. We're first-timers with our son's coming home from college. So he's a freshman. He's going to be home Tuesday, I guess early evening, if you will. And I'm trying to get my wife to understand that there's a high likelihood that outside of actually Thursday itself, we will probably see very little of him. You know, my wife's making all these, Joey's coming home, we're going to do this and that. And I'm like, yeah. You know, all of his buddies are all going to be out and about doing, whatever, 19 and 20-year-old kids do. But nonetheless, it's exciting. Glad to have him, getting ready for him to be home. My younger son, they won their football game last night. They are now 13-0 for the second straight year. Back to the state championship game. We're actually playing the exact same team. Yeah. Matter of fact, in all the 4, 5, and 6A, all the 3 big divisions, every game is a rematch from last year. So all the same 6 teams that were in it last year are in it this year. This one, I tell you, I was nervous about the last one. This one, I'll be shocked and I'll be happy. But tall task. Got tall task. That actually won't be played this Saturday, following Saturday. So December the 1st. Will be that game. I'll keep you all posted because I know you want to know. Even if you don't, it's my show. I'll tell you what I want. So that's all going on at my house. Not to mention, we got to get up the Christmas display, the Cocoa Huts popping up and get all the lights and all that stuff. I live on one of those streets. Everybody on the street decorates. I mean, it's big time. Like people. When they say, what are we going to do tonight? Let's drive around and look at the Christmas lights. One of the places they go is my street. So we got to get that done as well. So we got a lot going on. But how to survive Thanksgiving? Because I know a lot of you out there are like me, right? And hey, we love our family. We do. We love them when we aren't forced to have to spend time with them, right? I know that sounds bad, but you know what I'm saying. And for us, Sarah and I and the boys, we always go to Eric and Lori. And about 4 years ago, I started getting upset because we've been going there for years. And number one, it was always awkward as to when to leave, right? Because the boys, they're bored. They get bored. We want to go home, and then they got older, and then when my older son could drive, can we take 2 cars so we can leave, and that kind of stuff. And you wanted to spend enough time, but it's always weird. Then when you do leave, you don't get the good leftovers. The good stuff's gone. Right? There's plenty. You always get plenty of green bean casserole. Right? Who wants that? Nobody. Right? You want the turkey, you want the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, right? The rolls. And about 4 years ago, it came to me. The backup turkey. It's brilliant. Okay? First rule, don't have Thanksgiving at your house. Okay? That's rule number one. Go to a relative, go to the aunt, go to the uncle, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, cousin, dog, I don't care. But before you leave, you put a turkey in your oven. This is key because now you have a time frame. And we like to work it out to where the turkey's going to be done in about 4 hours after we leave the driveway. See, now all of a sudden there's no debate on when we're leaving. Your kids know, hey, listen, this is how long we're going to be there. Okay, everybody knows we're not taking 2 cars. I don't want to hear you, complaining about wanting to go somewhere. We're committed. I'll tell you the other good side of it when we return. Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial.
By now the fighting will be close at hand.
800-951-0592. Double J's secret to success on Thanksgiving. Here's a little tip for everybody. Right? Don't feel bad. I used to worry, well, what if they actually want us to stay longer? They don't. Right? They don't want you there any longer. You want to be there.
I'm not sure if this is working. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good, because I can't hear you.
Talk loud.
I'm talking loud.
There you go.
Here's my only concern about...
The backup turkey?
Yeah, leaving your house for 4 hours with your oven on.
What's going to happen?
I don't know. Oven could
you got insurance?
Blow up. The turkey could pop open and explode.
Really?
I don't know.
Has that ever happened to you?
No, I don't make the turkey. Actually, we're going to my nieces, Marcy and Will, and Will's making the turkey. We're making the ham.
See, this is the thing. See, you brought up the ham.
Oh, I love the ham.
Let me tell you, who doesn't like ham? We like ham.
I love ham.
But when you get the leftovers, you get ham. You get a couple scraps of turkey.
Right.
So when you have the backup turkey, you actually do a couple. The number one, you're like, I don't need any turkey. More leftovers for other people. Now you're like a hero now. Right? You're like, what?
No turkey?
We get extra turkey? Oh, all right. Right? So you're doing there's a greater good. Now, and turkey, it's one of these weird things where I don't know why it just smells so good and you eat so much, you go into this coma.
Yes.
Right?
You go into the
coma. You go into the coma, you got the football game on, you're in the coma.
Yes.
And then for whatever reason, and I don't know why, there's something about it. When you wake up from this coma, you need to have more
turkey.
You got to.
Turkey.
Right. You don't want the ham, you want the turkey.
Very strange.
See, it's weird. It is.
Yeah, it is.
So it's the backup turkey. Now, here's what I will tell you this. We actually, the last couple of times, we actually threw some out.
Why?
Well, because we got sick of it.
Well, why don't you just freeze it?
Well, I don't know, Wendy. It wasn't like we threw out 10 pounds of turkey. I mean, it was the scrap. We ate all the good stuff.
Oh, and you had the icky.
Right, Sarah took, we made turkey soup. I mean, we had turkey like 5 different ways.
And then you're like, no more turkey.
No more turkey. Don't even freeze it. By the time you're done, you're like, I don't even want to see a turkey till next year.
That's pretty
But
funny.
the backup turkey, it's genius.
It is. That is a good plan. I'm not doing it, but that is a good plan.
And now with the, and unfortunately, this is what the only bad thing about the smart technology is I believe these new ovens will shut themselves off. You don't want that.
No.
Because then you're stuck there. But I gotta go because like Wendy said, maybe the turkey's gonna blow up.
Right,
I don't know.
I gotta go. My turkey's in the oven. Bye.
But it's really brilliant, and you let everybody know. Like Eric and Lori already know.
We're leaving.
That the backup turkey thing, right? They know. Hey, we're out of here at 6 o'clock. Dinner's at 3. We get there at 2. We're out by 6.
And then you have the rest of the night to just eat more turkey.
Eat more turkey. Go back into a turkey coma.
Oh my!
It's brilliant. So there you. I want to, and I'll every year I'm going to share it with you. I'll share it with you.
Thank you.
Because I want everybody to really enjoy their holiday.
Yes, everybody have a wonderful holiday.
And you know what? I'll say this: and the Christmas music, but here at the radio station here, like Halloween, they start playing the Christmas music. It's ridiculous.
Yes, on Sirius Radio, there's like 4 different stations that are 5. I think one's in Spanish. I don't listen to that one. But they're playing Christmas music. Yes, I know. My husband John's like, we're not decorating until Friday.
Well, that's our thing, right? We've got the by Sunday night. We've got to be done.
Really?
Yeah, we got to have it ready because we're on the schedule. And we collect. People bring canned goods, and every year we get 2-3 pallets for the homeless. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'll bring some stuff to you tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
All right.
I'll have a bag for you.
There you go. So we do all that stuff, and it's fun. We enjoy it. My wife and I, we take one turn. One night we do the Cocoa Hut, and because when you come into our street, we've got a little Cocoa Hut. When people stop, you get free cocoa, and you bring some canned goods, and
right.
And we got a little thing. Our neighbor made this donation box. And we've got a little Cocoa Hut, with all Christmassy and all that.
Right.
Yeah, we got the whole shebang.
So your decorations will be up by Sunday.
By Sunday.
Really?
Yeah. So I got him when my kid, Joey's coming home, so we got to get our kids to go up on the roof because I'm not going up there. You think my fat butt up there? Are you kidding me?
God, no.
No.
The
tiles would get smashed.
People would say, "Oh, look, there's Santa." No, actually, you know what? I won't be able to get it done because John is going back up north to our property on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'll just have to.
John's really smart.
He does.
He's got like a backup turkey. It's called a backup cabin.
Right. I'm leaving now. He got home. Literally got home yesterday. He's home for a few days. He has a buddy that's here for the winter that loves to go up. And they're like, can we go up the day after?
Listen, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's just like me.
And I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
He only can handle you in doses.
That's true. Well, it's in reverse, too,
That's what I'm saying. See, it works. I say, listen, Eric and Lori are happy about the backup turkey.
Yeah.
They're good. They're getting out. Get out.
Right. And I'm happy. I'm not, John's going back up north because he likes it up there, and it's not totally freezing yet. It's not -2. So he's going to go back.
There you go.
So I'll decorate myself. I don't care.
All right. Well, anyway, so that concludes our
Thanksgiving backup turkey.
The backup turkey for Thanksgiving, trying to help everybody out there. 800-951-0592. Listen, we actually got a lot to talk about. The Dow's down 250-plus points. A lot of things happening in the market, and I know this is a tough segue. Friday, Jim Cramer was out again. And remember now, he's not a journalist. He's a guy that the CEOs tell him, and he goes out and says it on TV because the CEOs, as we learned from Wells Fargo, right, they like to exaggerate, right, and they like to fluff it up and lie and mislead, so he comes out and tells the truth. Ramon, play what he had to say Friday.
He said we're getting close to the vicinity of neutral, Jim.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's Cramer 1, Fed nothing from 2007, and he's wrong, for trying to do some work, which is what he ought to do. And what I think is that when I look at what happened in 2007, it's exactly what they did this time. And we had some people in the Fed, very well-meaning, saying exactly what he did. Now, of course, he did slip in at the end, data dependence, but, their record's not as good as mine. And I'm sorry to be like that. I'm sorry to be like Bill Parcells. You are what your record says you are. And they're 0-1. And they got to start shaping up and stop being ideological. I think that Chairman Powell the other day started to say it. Get a little more data dependent. But they got to do more work, Carl. They got to stay up later. They got to make more calls. It's a huge drag to understand this stuff. But you got to make the calls. I do. Sorry to be so arrogant.
No, that's all right. And a couple of key thoughts. I mean, comparing to 07 in the sense of what was going on with the credit markets in 07 is not completely an apples-to-apples comparison.
True. No, I'm just saying they're wrong now. Like they're wrong now. No, we're in a much better balance.
I am going to tell you, listen, I've been sitting here listening to you for a couple of months now, 6 weeks at least, talk pretty negatively about what you see coming. And I will have to say that I'm starting to hear the same thing.
You are, huh?
Yeah. Business confidence. There's a question as to whether how much it's getting shaken because of the potential trade war. And
oh my God!
I'm starting to hear it more often, and I'm also hearing it from investors who, by the way, even if it doesn't end up necessarily being true, are pulling back, and these things become self-reinforcing or even self-fulfilling.
Right.
Not to mention, of course, as you pointed out so many times, the home builders. Yesterday we saw KB Home and what happened, and retail, which has been kind of a mixed bag, and we're going to take a look at it this morning with Nordstrom or with Williams-Sonoma, Dillard's, Macy's the other day. Jim, I got to tell you, I'm starting to agree with you.
The 98,000 people work at JCPenney. What's going to happen to them? We got to find a home for them.
Well, you got all the CEOs talking to you guys. Today it's the Journal, very dovish op-ed called "America is Not an Island," in which the page says the Fed needs to rethink a December hike. The president needs to think about his tariff war. He says, how lucky does he feel? He just suffered a bruising midterm election defeat with a strong economy.
Yeah, are you feeling lucky? I mean, it's like a Dirty Harry situation. I mean, look, I'm a little shaken here by what's happening because it's happening faster than the Fed seems to realize. The Fed doesn't want to show, just like they did in 2007. I understand the credit markets,
and it's global.
Right.
We got to point out the slowdown is occurring at a faster rate, and certainly foreign markets show that. I mean, take a look at the performance of emerging markets or just international markets overall versus our own. And what this is, it's China. It is at the heart of it, even though, frankly, the consumer here has really not suffered very much as a result yet of the tariffs. But it is the perception of this going to continue for quite some time that seems to be shaking some decisions in terms of businesses and potentially, I guess, at the consumer level too.
Well, let's talk about what the vice chair said. He said there's really nothing in the markets that gives the signal. Well, that's wrong. Okay, it's the First Amendment. He has the right to be wrong, but he's wrong. When you see oil fall like this with the speed of light, when you see the Baltic freight fall like this, when you see applied materials fall like this, part of the new economy, when you see the home builders, when you see the autos, when you see the retailers, we're a service economy. What you have to do is say, if you're him, you know what, we have new data. And the new data in the last 6 weeks have changed. We don't want to react necessarily in the next 6 weeks, but if it continues, we may have to rethink what we're doing. And again, that's not wrong. But if you're ideological and you say, you know what, we've been raising slowly and we're being very prudent, they're not being prudent. They're fooling themselves. They're being rash. They're not being careful. And their policymakers, they need to be careful. Jay is a careful and prudent man. These are people who are my age or younger. And I don't want to see them make a mistake. Now, we could sit here and say, you know what, we're journalists. Who are we? I'm not a journalist. I mean, I'm speaking to these business people offline. And they say, just like in 2000, say something, please. So I'm saying it. And, again, these guys are my junior. A lot of these guys would have been people I would have employed at one point. And it's okay to say, hey, guys, come on. Do more homework.
Do more homework. Right? They're kidding themselves. Did you hear some interesting little comments? 97,000 people work at JCPenney. We need to find somewhere for them to go. Did you catch that? Bye-bye. Bye-bye Sears, bye-bye Kmart, bye-bye JCPenney. I don't even know, Macy's. Right? When home builders class, by the way, today, on top of that, and by the way, Dow's down now 300. On top of what he talked about, what the home builders are, home builder sentiment. This is one of those survey things. Again, remember, this is what they've been banking on. Not actual data. No, let's talk about the survey data when we call up CEOs that we just line their pockets with how good they feel. Second largest drop of all time. You know what the largest was? I was actually shocked. Thought the largest was during the collapse. The largest was right after 9/11, which, in thinking about it, actually made sense. It's actually a bigger drop than when the housing crash happened. That was out today. Kramer saying, listen, the CEOs are telling me privately things have slowed dramatically. Talking about how the Federal Reserve is not doing their homework. He called it ideological. Right? I call it the people that think they're too smart for their own good. Right? Things that are obvious. If you just listened. Instead, well, we got a formula. We don't need to listen. And the formula says it's okay. And of course, well, the American consumer hasn't suffered yet. Yeah, it's happening. It's not reported yet, but believe me, I know. It's happening. Right? Remember, I'll use Nordstrom's as the big example. Did you see how much they had to write off their store credit card? That's a huge indication. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Mrs. Schlafly was a courageous and articulate voice for traditional values and common sense for more than 70 years. Now, continuing that legacy, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
Americans have never supported quotas as other countries do. We take pride in being the land of opportunity based on merit, regardless of race, creed, gender, or religion. But California just took another left turn in its newly enacted Senate Bill 826, which requires gender quotas on corporate boards. Under SB 826, publicly owned California companies must have at least one woman on their board of directors and, for larger companies, 3 women by 2021. California Democratic Senator Hannah Beth Jackson authored this gender quota bill, supposedly to help women. SB 826 then sailed through the California Senate and Assembly by nearly veto-proof supermajorities. This leaves California companies scrambling to find token women to put on their boards of directors to replace men who may be better for the companies. Because of this, people will view any woman who is on the board of a California company with skepticism as to whether she's the token or is there based on merit. This also opens the floodgates to Me Too legislation to create quotas for every minority or other trait. If a quota can be created for gender, then it can be created for any group that has political heft in that increasingly liberal California legislature. Interest groups that are particularly powerful in lobbying the California legislature include homosexual activists and transgender advocates. Not many California legislators would vote against accommodating those interest groups with their own quotas. Perhaps some feel there are not enough women in high-paying jobs in construction or professional sports. The California legislature could take the same shatter-the-glass ceiling approach and mandate that construction crews on public highways or professional sports teams that play in publicly financed stadiums must include at least one woman. Before long, we could have a woman place kicker on a California football team, not because she's the best, but because no one dares vote against the concept. Most companies already avoid incorporating in California, so the practical effect may be minimal. One study suggests that despite all the hoopla, the new law will increase the number of women on the board at Apple Computers by a grand total of only 1.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. You've seen the desperation of women's marches, the disgrace of Planned Parenthood, the rise of savvy young conservative women. Radical feminism is heading down a dead-end road. Voice your opinion on what's really important to women at phyllisschlafly.com. That's phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
He was backwards.
800-951-0592. Got a nice little special here to start off the shortened holiday week. Got 150. So, again, now we're starting to get some coins available to us. 150 $20 gold pieces These are they're not the BUs, the CUs. These are going to be just nice, solid, really nice looking 20s. These are all the Liberties, the old ones, 1866 to 1907. And when I say 20s, for those of you that don't know, right, our currency used to be backed by gold. So when they made a $20 gold piece, right, they created $20, right? And a company, let's just say you bought a home, right? And the home was, back then, $1,000. I don't know. Well, they'd have to make, enough 20s to cover that home that was built, right? They'd have to produce 50 20s. And that's why we call it the $20 gold piece. See, unlike your $20 bill of today, which your $20 bill of today, let's say, as we know, I don't need to tell you, doesn't buy anywhere close to what it did when you were a kid. And I always talk about the baseball card, right? They were 15 cents, right? A candy bar. I don't even think a candy bar is a quarter yet, right? And I was just at the store the other day getting the backup turkey, right? $1.79, right? That's what's happening. And today, right, $1,300. Gold, by the way, gold's just hanging out, $1,223 and change. It's up fractionally. Silver, same thing. Silver is right around $14.40. And the Dow is down about 300 points. Boeing, Apple, Facebook, the list going on. Pretty much all the homers just getting massacred. And so take the time, put them away, take advantage of this. You don't get pricing like this very long, very often, and we can tell right already here as 2018 is coming to a close, right? The pricing is you're getting right how much it costs, getting bigger. Take the time, put them away. 800-951-0592. Again, so we had Kramer. You heard what he had to say. I told you about what happened with the home builder sentiment, and then this came out over the weekend, and it had nothing to do with tariffs. And I know that's like they're going, the tariffs. Now, doesn't help, but no. For the first time in years, growth in quarterly demand for hotel rooms in the United States dropped. In fact, posting the second largest decline since 2008. Alarm bells going off across the leisure and hospitality industry. And again, this is what? This is when you have extra money. Well, what do you do when you got extra money? You look at the wife, you look at the kids and say, come on, let's go somewhere. Right? You get in the car, you get on the plane, and you go somewhere. They used to call it vacation. Matter of fact, you used to get 2 paid weeks every year. Now nobody gets that. Well, I shouldn't say no, but people do. Not very many. To be sure, some of the decline in occupancy can be explained by unfavorable comps. No, it can't. Unfavorable. What do you mean? Last year, this year. I thought they were going to say weather. Oh, well, they said, hurricane struck Florida. Yeah, they do every year, by the way. Just in case people wanted to know. CBRE said hotels had declining traffic and average daily rates. That's not good. Revenue per room available also dropped. Once again, that's not good. And it goes on and just pretty much says across the board, from Hyatt hotels to the Hilton hotels to the Marriott. Just another one. And again, Kramer talked about it. They keep telling us they don't see any signs. There's a lot of signs. Matter of fact, they're so big they're hard to miss. And by the way, Goldman Sachs came out today. They don't anticipate growth over 2% in the second half of 2019. Matter of fact, as low as 1.6. Just to keep that in mind. I don't know. We'll have to see. And again, I apologize. Our static friend made a return. How about this one? This was out of the AP today. And it's talking about the recent turbulence in the stock market. Really, we're just getting started. And I don't want to scare anybody. You know what? I hate when people, Double's just trying to scare you. No. I don't have time for that. Listen, I've been doing this a long time. This company's been around for 23 years. I don't need to scare anybody. Here's the fact. If you bought gold the day I started, you're up 400%. That's not too bad. Right? You're doing okay. I don't need to scare you. These are the reality. You know what should scare you is how they've done what they've done to get here. Debt, right? Making your money worthless. Right? Think about it. You know when I first started working here, you know how much interest your savings account paid? Almost 9%. You know, the interest rate on my first home was almost 8%. Better, I think it was 8. Think about it. Right? You could buy a CD. You could buy a treasury bond and live off the interest. Anybody over the age of 55, you're not supposed to be in the stock market, yet you are. Older workers and retirees have been hit particularly hard. Listen, this latest bout here been cruel to the 401k. It's not out yet, but trust me, you may not want to look at it. There's a lot of fear that if you have another event like 08, then I know that the banks are better this time. Listen, they're not better if no one pays their bills. This is what I keep saying. Right? You could, they got this tier 1 and that tier 1. It doesn't matter. Look at GE. Right? They went from a really good bond to junk in literally a couple of years. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. U.S. $20 Liberties. $1,300. That's $76 in change over spot. That's amazing. 800-951-0592. Remember what Kramer said. They're not reporters. Those guys on TV are not reporters. They're under no obligation to tell you anything. What they are is they're a mouthpiece for Wall Street. So they paint you a picture that, we all want to believe, right? We all want to believe that we've earned the right, and we haven't. Listen, when you spend trillions of dollars more than you take in, you're not earning anything. I want you to understand. They said the consumer hasn't been hurt so far. Here's something that they don't tell you. Americans' retirement accounts. Okay, they're talking about 401ks and IRAs. Right? The great gift that they gave us all. So their precious little stock could go a little higher. Older Americans in particular, right, well, the ones that need it the most, have had a tough time recovering their losses. According to estimates, the net worth of the median baby boomer household in 26 2018 was nearly 18% shy of where it was in 2007. And guess what? You made most of that up. And in this little pullback here, you just lost it all. And I'm going to just tell you, it's going lower. Not because I think, you know what? It maybe if the trade war ended, maybe if the Federal Reserve didn't have its head up its own backside. You know, Kramer said it's Kramer 1, Fed 0. It's more than, listen, the Fed has never been right. And I don't mean that to be exaggeratory. If that's even a word. Sometimes I'll make up words. I don't care. I'm not that smart. Every single time the Fed has gone on a rate hiking cycle, it's ended the exact same way. Recession. Every single time. I mean, what do you think? I know. Right. I don't need to be a rocket scientist to go, well, I wonder, you know, if Vegas was putting odds on it, it'd be like 1 to 9 that they're right. Right? Which means if you bet the favorite, you're never going to win, right? I bet recession. You're not going to make any money. Because that's what it's going to be. But they haven't even recovered. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of this move up was isolated in very few stocks. And a lot of, you know, I'll use G as, I hope your financial guys were smart enough, because I know a lot of retirees, you buy those stocks with the big dividend. Right? That's their solution. If you had G, you got massacred. Right? And all of these big dividends, what's that? Have you been here? Oh, we're raising the dividend rate here and there. But you're getting just as many companies, getting rid of it. Even GE, their dividend, even now, which was ridiculous, they were giving you 12 cents, down to a penny. Problem is, the stock's lost like 60% of its value. There is no evidence that the retirement, and this is out of the AP, there is no evidence that retirement wealth has improved in the last few years. For workers 50 to 65, there's actually indications that wealth has fallen. I don't even know what to say. Right? And when you're sitting there and you're looking at this and they come out, well, the consumer hasn't been affected. Yeah, we've been massacred. You know, I was at the doctor last Thursday. I've been going to my doctor for almost 20 years. I've coached his kids. I know his wife. I know his children. He knows mine. And we were laughing because his youngest daughter's graduating high school. And his son, who I coached in basketball many moons ago, is in medical school. And he was telling me, man, Joe, I don't know what to do. He goes, we've got to help him. He can't afford to go to medical school and get a job, because the job that he would need to be able to pay for it, he actually wouldn't even be able to go to class. And we were kind of joking, and he's like, and he wants to get married. You know, you go to college 8 years. You know, doctors, right? The guy's in his late 20s. Hey, I got a girl. I'd like to get married. He's like, hey, you know, we were laughing. I said, hey, if you get married, that's it, right? At some point, I got to say no more. And he goes, I'll still pay. You know, he's not paying for medical. He can't afford it. He's like, look, I paid for his college, but medical school's on him. But I give him money so he can, you know, eat, live in an apartment, you know, stuff like that. And we just both kind of said, you know, Just how it is now. It didn't used to be that way. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. Final segment here on this Monday. Remember, short week. We'll be closed Thursday and Friday. Dow's down 400 points right now. Home builders came out the largest drop since 9/11 in that home builder confidence number. We're starting to see what I call the soft data numbers now going dramatically in the other direction. And again, it is what it is. We've lived beyond our means. We covered it up with debt. What should they have done? We should have let all of these bad guys, these bad actors, go out of business. Would it have been more painful in 07, 08? Yes. Yep. Sure would have. Would we be much better off today? Oh, you wouldn't believe it. So much better. If we broke up the banks, wouldn't we be better off? Of course we would. But they didn't want to, because you know what? Then you'd have to live in the reality that Dow 6,000 was the real number. That the great 401k that they gave all of us isn't worth anything. If all of your money is in a paper asset, you're making a mistake. Am I telling you not to be? No, I'm not telling you not to be in a 401k or an IRA or a money market or any of those things. What I'm telling you is you better have some insurance on that. And then you know what? And here's the great part. Then you hope, that you don't have to use it. U.S. $20 Liberties, $1,300 today at 800-951-0592. The only thing really up today, gold, and it's really just hanging out. It's up fractionally, like I said, 1,223, 1,224. The Dow's down 400, the S&P's down 43, the Nasdaq's down almost 200 points. Crude oil's down. Right, that was the other thing. Crude oil doesn't do that. Go from 80 to 55, unless something terribly wrong is happening. He talked about the dry Baltic. I'm talking to Kramer, right? Dry Baltic Index, right? That's the shipping, the cargo ships. You know what they're saying? Yeah, they're empty. They're empty. 800-951-0592. Take the time. Put things that are real away. Put tangible assets away. Right? When you really think about where we're headed, what is the most likely outcome? The most likely outcome is the Fed raised rates too much. And you think about it, we're not even anywhere near 3%. We're at 2%. Between 2 and 2.25%, which that's nothing. Remember when we'd go in a recession, they'd cut rates from 7 to 5. We can't even get to 3% without it killing everything. What does that tell you? And then, of course, if recession does come, what's the most likely thing that's going to happen? Right, rates back to zero. Quantitative easing back again, right? And the debt piles explode. And then, of course, we're probably going to see the big rally in gold and silver as the dollar suffered. Listen, we're not an island. I warned you all along. We're going to grow, and China is not, and Europe's not, and Asia's not. Come on. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.